Okay. So okay. Good evening. I'd like to call this village board meeting to order. It is 7:45. Has the public notice been published?
Yes, it has been posted and noticed according to law.
Thank you. It looks like all trustees are present, which makes 7 of us. The first item on our agenda for tonight is a special order of business, number 4A, consider Class A intoxicating liquor and malt beverage license, the North Shore Healthcare LLC, doing business as Thompson's Surview Pharmacy at 1421 East Capitol Drive, Shorewood, Wisconsin, 53211. And did this go to committee?
Yes, it went to committee.
And what was the vote at committee before this?
The committee voted to issue the permit 3-0.
Okay.
And we look forward to the board doing our discussion,
Sure.
recap of our discussion. The three of us felt that we have given this permit to Walgreens and another business as well. And we wanted to keep them to allow the local business and the local pharmacy to remain competitive against Walgreens as well. So that was our thoughts behind the vote. Was there anything else?
Trustee Bachus and Trustee McKay.
Brittany, did we deny one of these last year? The gas. Oh, the gas station. Thank you. All right.
And this is, and when you say one of these, this is not a full liquor license. This is.
Right.
I'm just wondering. Okay. Trustee McKay. Well, Trustee McKay can.
I was going to make one. I move to approve the application for Class A license for North Shore Healthcare LLC, doing business as Thompson's Surview Pharmacy, 1421 East Capitol Ave, Shorewood, Wisconsin, 53211, and direct the clerk to issue the license upon approval of occupancy with Canadian Development.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? I'm going to vote yes, but I do have reservations for the future. I've always wondered, we have such a small business district that every time you add more places that can sell liquor, in general, like the bar tap room will tell you, like the lobbyists will tell you that hampers, it digs into the businesses that are bars in our area, our small businesses already. I'm not sure why we issued a liquor license to Walgreens. Beer and wine is fine, but why would we the full Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, in the middle of a pharmacy? It doesn't make sense to me. So, in the future, I know we want to be fair and equitable now, but in the future, it might be something good to look at. Do we really want to be issuing these licenses to, and how is that competing with our businesses? So, Trustee Maher.
Hayek's had a similar license, and a lot of their business shifted over to Thompson's, and this just kind of replaces that service. It also helps. We've lost a lot of our private small drugstores, Fitzgerald's, Hayek's. This is a way to maintain our local small-scale pharmacies, how to help them survive in this environment.
Did your clerk? Did Hayek's have a full liquor license, like to sell liquor? I don't remember that. Does anyone? Mike? I did? Okay, I don't recall. I remember buying beer there once, but I didn't know if it was just beer and wine. Trustee Buckler.
I understand your concern. I do think that this would be something most of the business district were to bring to us, then that would be more, I'd be more amenable to worrying about the future on this, but at the present time, I'm comfortable voting on this.
Yep, and so am I. So we need, I know the chairman of the bid is here, and so potentially that's something we'll survey your businesses. Okay, all right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Our next item on the agenda is 4B. Consider application for special privilege approval for an accessible passenger loading zone in the public right-of-way at Lake Bluff Elementary, 1600 East Lake Bluff Boulevard. Rebecca, or Quinn, did you go to committee?
Director Gerber probably here is here as
Hi,
well as
Director.
Dr. Davis.
Hello. So I have a memo in the packet explaining the general terms of what has been requested, and the school district is here as well. So the summary is there's been issues with access for accessible students to the front of the building since a ramp has been installed. Throughout the last year, we've done the process of the transportation and parking analysis. Within that report, which is also in the consent agenda tonight, it did recommend allowing for ADA loading in front of the school, specifically 2 to 4 spots. There was early discussion as to whether or not these would be ADA parking stalls or ADA loading zone stalls. The consensus based on discussion was to request for ADA loading so that no one could park there, full-time throughout the day and impede the ability for someone to drop off or pick up a child there. So the memo is within the packet that includes, the general terms of what has been requested, and if there's anything further, I'll let the school district elaborate and/or you can ask questions.
Can you just clarify, is it, how many feet is being requested?
36 feet.
Which is 20 is usually what we consider a parking stop? I mean, that's what we've used in the
18 to
past.
20 is the standard, and my
Okay.
understanding is.
So if it was 18 and 18, so it's about 2 parking stalls.
Correct. The board could modify it to 40 if you felt as though you needed additional space, but the 18-foot minimum, I think, is what has been requested for a total of 36.
Wait, trustee Menta?
Is it currently loading zone?
Yes.
That will set that as loading
Yes.
zone.
Yeah, so this would just be signed specifically with an ADA component to allow accessible vehicles to unload their passengers there.
I'm confused. Oh, unless trustee Bachhorst, do you have a question?
Nope.
Okay. So, only because we just had our by-board meeting and we were talking a little bit about the space. So, how many spaces are already loading zone? And what are the hours for that?
So that area is a loading zone, so the primary concern is with our students with disabilities and their parents' abilities to drop them off and have spots available.
Right.
So right now, it's a different dynamic when it's a loading zone. I can just open my door, my child gets out and goes. So we have situations where parents need to carry their children in, and there's situations like tomorrow morning where those parents, because of the timing, be forced to park on a side street, carry their children onto the sidewalk across the street. And so we just want to make it more accessible for those parents.
And I totally agree. But I'm just wondering how many spaces are currently exist for a loading zone, and then 2 of those will be designated as ADA?
Yeah, I don't have the exact count on what that space is. It's essentially the length of Lake Bluff.
It's about the whole
You
thing.
think it's about
Yeah, there's several spaces.
Okay.
7 or 8 maybe?
Yeah.
And so all you're asking then in general is for signage?
And there was a specific request with this one to put concrete in the parkway, so apologies for not pointing that out. So that's not standard for loading zone requests for other businesses or establishments. But the school district has asked the village board to consider installation of a concrete parkway to assist with that loading zone. DPW provided an estimate of $2,500 to $3,000 to do that.
Have we ever done, is there precedence for this?
In my understanding, the village has never done that, no.
Why?
So,
Based on cost. People are allowed to apply for a permit for a carriage walk in that zone, and they've all, to my knowledge, paid for it themselves. And so this would be a first request that the village would be installing it based on the loading zone application.
the district felt because it's an opportunity to make those spaces fully accessible, not just a drop-off zone, but to make them fully accessible, that the need is there for that concrete, so that therefore we put it in the proposal.
Trustee McKay?
I was gonna say, most of the loading zones in the commercial district already have concrete outside.
That was what I was asking.
Hardscaping, but I imagine residential ones is where there'd be a grass parkway to be considered. I'm comfortable, I think it makes sense to make them fully accessible. I think in this day and age, that's what you do, so.
Trustee Carpenter?
So I was a little bit just confused about the changing the landscape to cement. Is that also going to, if they're looking to have it be a ramp? Because that also could be a difficulty getting out of the car. If there's getting out of the car and having to get up onto the curb. I will,
Yeah, I'm not understanding what a concrete
Right.
pad
The
is.
request is not for a ramp currently, so there's a ramp at the crosswalk of New Hall,
yeah.
that I presume could be utilized, but I don't know how that impacts the concrete work.
Yeah, so in spaces where you have a ramp that would come out of the side of the vehicle, so that would be a place kind of, that would be a landing zone, if you will.
So,
For particular.
so like if you had a.
If you had a ramp,
vehicle,
yes.
The ramp would come onto the cement slab
Correct.
there.
Yes.
At the curb. or
Yes.
if you took a- Okay.
Yes, and so if you don't have that, it'd be going on grass or mud or snow.
So is there no more curb?
There.
It's just cement slab?
It's just cement instead of that parkway, so where there's currently, especially in winter when there's snow, that's why I was asking you to. So where the handicap vehicle would go onto concrete. Instead, and I'm assuming that the school district would keep that.
Yes, we
clear.
would maintain,
Okay.
yes.
So just to be clear, and I'm not great with diagrams if there's one in here. It's the green, so we have a road, and then we have a green space, and then we have a sidewalk, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what you're proposing is to take the concrete and put it over the grass in between the sidewalk and the road
That's correct. And it-
with the same curb height,
Yeah, that's correct.
and for the length of 2 spots.
That's
Do we
correct.
have any concern in the village? I'm all for this, but I have 2 concerns. But does the village have any concerns with impervious surface or runoff in the area? I'm assuming we don't. Okay.
Not for that amount of space, unless DPW has further thoughts, but
Okay.
planning development does not have issues with that.
Perfect. And then my only other comment is, if we do this, I know that loading zones for governmental entities, which I just found out, they don't pay for the fee for loading zones, but I certainly would, the ordinance does not say anything, nor do we have precedent for the village to pay to make, to pour concrete. So I would expect that the school district would participate in that funding.
Well, that's,
Trustee-
I guess, just to be clear, like that's, the proposal from the district is for the village to pay for that, so I think that's part of the
Right,
conversation.
and I disagree with that. Okay,
Yeah.
trustee Bachhorst.
I'm comfortable with how this is laid out, and I appreciate that you're increasing the ADA, the accessibility and everything else. In the past, the village has paid a lot more for crossing guards and for a lot of renovations on the school districts and other things, since we share the same geographical boundaries and it comes from the same tax base, and also in the spirit of the fact that the referendum passed, I think at like 7%. I still don't have a problem with us taking that share, especially since we're doing the work and it's our community partner. So and I think it's a nominal cost as well, so I'm fine with the taxes. And I'd kind of like us to vote away what they get done.
Trustee Menta?
Are there any trees in that area of the parkway?
I don't believe so.
No. I mean, I can't tell from the picture. I mean, I don't want to take out a huge mature tree.
We could definitely
Yeah,
confirm that.
we'll take a look at it.
Leave a space around that if
Yeah, we
the
do
district
that.
is fine with that.
I mean, maybe the motion gets predicated upon, if there's a motion, maybe predicated upon not taking out a mature tree. I'm just saying that's a way to make a motion. Trustee McKay?
I would say the placement of an accessible loading zone in front of a mature tree would not be accessible, so I agree. I'm not trying to move spots,
Move to a different spot, is all we're saying.
Yeah, so I think,
Forward together.
I think you're saying the same thing, but
exactly.
you just move the accessibility spaces to a spot that didn't have a mature tree.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
work together.
Trustee Maher?
I make a motion to approve the application for special privilege approval for an accessible passenger loading zone in the public right of way, including the request to install concrete at the associated parkway at Lake Forest Elementary School at 1600 East Lake Boulevard.
Motion by trustee Maher, second by trustee Bachhorst. Discussion.
Okay,
Trustee
so
Menta.
does that, so your motion is including a concrete at our cost? What, where are we going to pay that from?
Yeah,
Because
what are you
it's not
proposing?
budgeted.
We need a dollar amount in motion.
It's not a budgeted expense if we did, but if it's on the work, we'd actually contract this out.
And can I please just have the total and make it a motion? We are being consistent with making sure that if there's a fiscal impact. it's noted in the motion.
Not to exceed.
It was estimated at $2,500 to $3,000
Per slab or total?
total.
Oh,
Not to exceed
$3 grand?
To exceed $3,000.
Right, not to exceed 3,000.
Right, but what, I mean, are you contingency fund or
That would be
just
fine.
we
We're
have
gonna- we're
extra
gonna
money?
use-
I thought it
So we
was
just take out
figured it out.
deductible.
So that
I mean,
means,
it's not budgeted, so.
I thank you so much for
I
that
still second
comment, because, that's okay, and we're in discussion now. Because of the referendum of $64 million, and because that included ADA improvements to our school system, I mean, that was one of the main goals of that referendum.
Right, and it was 65 million, so,
Oh, I'm sorry.
but part of that was, there's very defined, like, this was not in the scope of that, so it's very defined pieces.
It is
So-
3,000, it's minor, so it is
Right,
ADA
that's why I appreciate the
improvement
support.
for the school system, and I do believe I'm fully in support of ADA access, and I'm okay with even putting impervious surface over grass, which I usually don't like, but, you know, it's not my favorite thing to do. However, I feel very strongly this is we've waived the fee for the loading zone as is in our ordinance for you. But to actually make the improvement, if you're asking for additional concrete, I feel fully support that the school district could utilize that referendum money and for ADA improvement.
We cannot use the referendum money for that. It was not designated as part of the scope of what we were doing for our school, so that's not possible.
Not at all, right?
No, that's not possible.
Okay,
Just want to be clear with that, so
okay.
everybody understands.
Trustee Mento.
Well, I just have a question, that the school district already bonded an amount of around $40 million, none of which is budgeted to be spent, or a very small amount is budgeted to be spent in this current year. So that's, you have, you know, must be $800 to over $1 million in interest on the bond funds that are sitting in an account somewhere. So is that possible funding for
No,
this?
so I'll be clear, like anything related to the referendum and that money cannot be used for this type of project, has to be within the scope of what we have.
It can be used for ADA accessibility.
It's outlined for projects, and this was not part of that.
Trustee Mento.
Can I ask for a friendly amendment that we just separate the special privilege permit from the funding part, just so we can vote separately on those two items?
No.
Suggest we vote on this and if
Or you
it
can
fails,
amend it.
because people don't want to
You can strike,
spend
you want to make an amendment and
2,000
strike
for
something?
ADA
I'll make an amendment to strike the language about the funding of the concrete and just remove the special privilege permit. So I'll make that amendment.
Okay, can you read that? And I will second that, but can you read it back? So trustee Mento moves
You want to
to,
strike the language,
Relating to the concrete, and that the village would pay for it.
so whatever the motion is. Granting the special privilege for no fee, since it's a government agency.
so I think the motion then would be, okay, that trustee Macher moves, second by trustee Bachers to approve the application for special privilege approval for an accessible passenger loading zone in the public right of way.
Do you need to say,
Not exceed.
do you need to say not to exceed?
Not, and I
36?
have not to exceed $3,000, so I was making
No,
sure
no,
I
I'm
did.
just saying about length, not to exceed 36 feet.
No,
Do you
that
want
was-
that motion? Okay,
No,
all right,
that's
that's
no
fine.
motion.
I just, the clearer the better, but that's okay.
Okay, so
All right, so yes, and I second the amendment. Further discussion on the amendment, trustee Warren?
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm happy to take them separately, so I'm gonna vote for the amendment, but I anticipate the next one coming around.
Of course. Trustee Carpenter?
I have a question not related to the amendment, so I will have my question until after.
Okay, to the next one? Okay, same? Trustee Buckers? Okay, so we have, could you just please read back the amendment, and then we will take a vote.
The amended motion is to approve the application for special privilege approval for an accessible passenger loading zone in the public right-of-way at Lake Bluff Elementary School, 1600 East Lake Bluff Boulevard, not to exceed $3,000.
No, that
But
was,
that would be struck.
okay,
So, So just stop at Lake Bluff Boulevard.
Amendment is to
Right.
strike the
Yeah, what is
language
the
in the
amendment
other
doing?
motion, not to just
It's,
break it
Nathan,
up.
can you,
It's
can
to
you,
say-
yeah,
Nathan,
Yeah,
can you
the
clarify?
amendment is to specifically, as trustee Maher just mentioned, to strike the language that the village will pay for the,
From the
oh,
original.
3,000. So it's, at the end of the day, what you're really asking, or what you're really voting on is whether to amend the motion to strike that and just approve it without the funding from the village.
Do you have to
But then you
state
have,
something?
first you vote collectively on whether or not to amend the motion, and then if it passes, then you vote on the motion as amended, and if
Okay.
it fails,
So
then you vote on the
give me the
other
language
motion.
for the amendment. So we know what we're voting on.
why don't we just
To
kind of
strike,
vote?
it's
And
to
then vote on
strike
that.
everything after the address with the Boulevard, strike everything after that.
Is that what you have to say in the motion, like, the motion, the amendment? Okay, okay, the others got it.
And to be clear, we can come back to the next motion.
You can't, actually, you have to vote on this one.
We can make a motion to pay for this.
You're only amending, you're only voting whether or not to amend the underlying motion, the language of the underlying motion. Then you will have to vote on the underlying motion either way, whether it's amended or as it's struck.
And then we can make another motion after that about paying.
If it fails, you can make another motion.
What if it passes?
Well, then you're.
Well, then it passes.
Oh, then
You can
that,
recall the
No, you
previous
can make
vote.
another motion. I just want to vote on them separately. that's all.
Okay, so we have an amendment and a second. Is there any other clarifying questions that you need from our attorneys?
so I guess trustee Menta, I just want to confirm that what trustee Menta said is true. We can make another motion after if the amendment passes and
Oh, I see what you're saying. So
Yeah,
if you, so if
yeah.
you take the first
No.
vote and you vote on whether or not to,
Say the amendment passes.
if the amendment passes, and then someone wants to make a second vote on the same exact agenda item,
They can.
say then I make a second motion, pay $2,500 or $3,000, whatever it is. I think that's appropriate based on the way that it was agendized in the agenda. And that's-
I don't think that was a question needed. Let me rephrase for you.
Could we confirm with trustee Warren?
I think it was that much.
yeah, I'm just trying
I
to
think that's what you're asking.
yeah, I'm just trying to split them out separately. There was some-
But you will have to vote on, so I don't know, and Attorney Bear, please correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen, if you take a motion and you amend it to strike something, and then you usually vote on that motion. You don't then amend that. So say the amendment passes, so you don't
Well, it's,
offer amendment to put it back in. I mean, you vote on the motion and it fails or it doesn't.
I would call the question.
Is that correct?
well, the purpose and intent, well, I tell you what, why don't we find out whether it's amended or not? And then vote.
There will be an opportunity, though, to vote yes or no on an amended motion. If it failed, you would then propose the original motion, is my guess.
If the amendment fails, you're back to your original motion, that's absolutely correct.
Okay.
Sorry, if the amendment passes, though, I'd like to make another motion about paying for
If the let me
it.
explain.
Sorry, if the motion passes.
Yes,
The amended motion.
if the amendment right now passes, we then vote on the amended motion, which it would be without the funding, it just would be separating.
And then.
If that, and then if that passes, you can make another motion about the funding. Okay.
A cleaner way to do this, cleaner way to potentially do this is to vote on the original motion as written, and if it fails, then you can take up another motion, okay, but.
But we already have an
because
amendment
then
in a
you-
second.
Then you run into the issue, I mean, if the motion is amended, and the funding portion of it's taken out, the village would have the ability to, someone could theoretically make a separate motion to fund it, but whether or not it would be, let me take a look at how to do that.
I think it's fine because we have a motion and a second for amendment. We've got to take out. It's absolutely okay.
Well, consider application.
No different than any other amended motion. Is it? Oh, it's different than any other amended motion.
What's in the application? Is the funding in the application?
Okay, Okay, so here's the deal.
The request.
Yes.
No, funding for what? So what the amendment does is it allows the permit to be issued for free, the special privilege or whatever we're issuing, which we usually charge to the private sector. So that is how splitting it, that's what the amendment's doing, it's splitting it. If that passed and the motion passed, the fee for the concrete then is what you're asking about, is my assumption.
I mean, I don't believe we have a process for applying for a special privilege permit and requiring the village to pay. Like, they're two separate things. The special
That is
privilege permit is something we grant
And-
for use of
and we
the right of way.
waive that fee for government.
Finish. Special privilege permit is a permit we're granting to the school district for this particular parking. And then it's a separate issue. I mean, where have we ever seen a special privilege permit and as one of the conditions of the permit that we're paying for something? That I don't think it's even, I mean, it's the condition of the permit, the payment,
It was part of the request,
but it's not actually, it's our action
I agree.
of the permit is not, that's not one of the conditions of the permit that we're going to pay for.
We have to, it can be, but it typically has not been, is my interpretation. But I agree with Trustee Menta wholeheartedly. I mean, there's a special privilege application and typically they come forward and anyone that wants a loading zone pays $100 and then plus additional fee. We're waiving that because our ordinance says that government agencies do not have to pay that fee. So that's one thing. And then the second is a request to pay for an improvement upon the right-of-way to allow for concrete and easier access for the school district. Trustee
I
Martin.
really have a problem. I mean, it's our school district, it's our kids.
And it's $4 million.
Kids need accessibility to the schools. We're working with the schools. It's not like they're a business. And in the business district, we have all the streetscaping. It's all hard. They're only asking for some
Okay.
concrete so the kids can get into school.
Right. Yes, and we understand, and that's why. I'm sorry, there should not be anybody in the audience that is disruptive to the meeting. I think that's why Trustee Menta is splitting it, because I think it will be a 7-0 vote, in my opinion. I haven't heard one person on this board say they don't want to support ADA access in a loading zone for the school system. I think it's just a question of funding, and that is why the amendment was offered. Is that correct, Trustee Menta? Trustee Warren?
Yeah, and just to be clear, I'm both in favor of the loading zone, and I'm okay with paying for it as well. I just wanted to be able to, I heard some will on the board to split it, and I'm okay with that, but I'm not entirely clear that we can do that.
Well, okay, looking at the application, the funding is included as part of the application. So I think that because this motion is specifically to remove the funding element, which is reflected in the original application, then my recommendation is you vote once on whether you amend it and then you vote on the underlying one.
That's exactly right.
And not entertain a separate motion on
I-
whether or not to fund it separately. And that opinion is premised on the fact that the funding is in the application, so it would be the
I've never heard of
second motion
that.
to contravene the first, directly contravene the first motion. So that would be my recommendation.
So wait, so you're saying
You
that
can't
we
split
can
it.
only vote on both? We cannot vote on granting special privilege and then vote separately on the funding?
I've never heard
We
of
have to vote on the whole thing altogether.
Well, that's my recommendation, is to vote on the proposed amendment, which is to remove the funding. And the reason for that is it's part of the actual application. The overall motion is to approve the application minus the funding.
And
So
then you can make
that's
a
the
motion to
that's
fund
before
it.
the body.
Right.
So, but the
That's
thing,
motion that's before
I don't think you're understanding, Attorney Bear. There may be on this board, there may be, please, I don't have any idea, but there may be the intent that all the board would want to grant access to these spots for special privilege. And there may be a willingness that they may want to fund that, there may be a willingness that they don't. So Trustee Menta is trying to split it. This is not unusual, so I don't know why.
But that's exactly what the proposed amendment does.
That's
the
right.
two options.
But-
Either the proposed amendment goes through and the
That
funding
is-
element of it is removed.
Right, and then you can propose another motion to see
Yeah, well,
if you're
since
splitting
it
it.
appears that there's a majority of the board for funding it, although I still have not heard where we're going to fund it out of, I'll withdraw my amendment and let's just take a vote.
Well, I have not withdrawn my second, and so until there is consensus. And the reason I'm saying that is because I do want to vote in favor of ADA access for the school system. I think it's very, very important. I support it 100%. I think that the funding should come from the school district if there are improvements, so I would like to
I
split the
know, but
vote.
I believe I can withdraw my amendment. I don't think it matters.
I think the second has to agree as well, but, actually, the whole board has to agree.
155.13, it says, when a motion is made and seconded, it shall be deemed to be in possession of the board, shall be stated by the president or read by the clerk. Such motion may be withdrawn at any time before the vote has been had thereon with the consent of the board.
And
Majority vote or?
With the consent of the board, what is that? That would be unanimous consent.
Right, we've always used unanimous consent. So,
let's
trustee
just
Hick.
vote.
Two comments. First of all, I would like to ask, this is what I was going to ask before and I have to hold it, but I want to ask now. Between Director Butchlick and village manager, you all, what, and if Director Manius is here, but he's not here, what are our options if we were to fund it? Would it come from capital reserves, DPW? Which doesn't have reserves?
There's not sufficient funds within DPW to cover expenditures, so we would need to look at Mark and, it's likely he may consider capital reserves.
And next, it's not the fiscal year.
If I may. My second comment would be that my feeling is that providing an ADA loading zone does mean providing a concrete landing area. And so by providing that, we are providing a concrete landing area. And so the funding, you know, I think that it's completely appropriate that we would provide that as a service to the village. And I do think that I work with a lot of people with disabilities who work for people with disabilities and rights, and I do think that not supporting funding of something that makes something 100% accessible is too close to not supporting it. So I just offer to ask the board to consider that.
Trustee Buckers, and then I'll have a comment.
I'd also like to chime in on that, in that we all have to make hard decisions here, and I understand that you want to vote one way for something and another way for another, but at the end of the day, we should do it simplest, cleanest, and moves our agenda along, no guns. So I would just say that we go on with this and we get the vote done.
I'm going to make a comment, and then Trustee Carpenter. I have a question, actually. Is this precedent setting in the next loading zone for ADA access, which we do get a lot of requests? Rebecca, you said, what is it, 10 ADA accessible spots? And was there any intent or past history of paying for slabs to make them fully accessible?
No.
Director Bart, do you remember any time that this would be in the past that we paid for the concrete?
Yeah, those go to the village manager, and I have not seen that they've been accompanied with that.
So I believe, being here 4 years, and that's not that long of a time, but I do believe that this would be the first that I'm aware of, that we pay for, I mean, we allow the loading zone, we give the special privilege for the ADA accessibility, and I don't want to set that precedent that we now will also be paying, unless Trustee McCaig, I hear what you're saying. I mean, if it's an integral part, then we should be doing it for everyone.
Actually, no, I would say for our governmental agencies.
So just making it fully accessible and paying for our government agencies, and that doesn't make sense to me, in my opinion, because I don't believe that's fair to pay. We're setting a precedent, and if we want to make, if this board thinks that those slabs are necessary, those concrete slabs are necessary to make a spot fully ADA accessible, and that is the desire, then we should be doing that for everyone.
I don't think that's a mutually exclusive situation. I think that in this situation, we're offering our partners, the school district, the children, the community. This is community space. These are the school grounds. It's $3,000. We've done this in the past in many other ways. When I say we, the village has spent village funds to help redo the playgrounds, redo, what was that, the tune of $200,000, by the way, about 8 years ago. We have helped our partners, again, same tax base, same community, same municipality. So I understand that some people might, I don't see this as we're gonna offer this to every business on the area here. This is the school district and
And it's what makes things accessible. I do need, for the fiscal note, we do need an identification of a fund.
no, we don't.
Yeah, we do. And you can say reserves, you can say whatever you want to say, but we don't, you don't just.
We're looking at
Okay, but-
considering $1 million contracts
I know.
that came in way under bid.
I'm just
what it
asking for the
cost.
fiscal, the typical fiscal note requires an account.
I'd like to call a question.
Okay,
Ask me questions.
well, the question has been called,
We'll have to vote on that.
and so we will vote on calling the question immediately with no more comments. Apologize. So is that on a roll call, right? Right, okay. All right, so the motion is to call the question. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
No, sorry.
Okay, so motion carries
Doesn't it take a,
4-3 or no? I don't know.
This is 155-17, any member desirous of terminating the debate may call the previous question. Then the question announced by the president shall be the main question be put. The majority of the members present vote in the affirmative, the main question shall be taken without further debate.
And it was a 4-3 vote, right?
is that Robert's rules?
Who were the nays? Can you please raise your hand for the clerk? Okay, so motion carries. We will immediately go to the, take a vote on the amended motion.
On whether to amend.
On whether to amend the motion, correct?
You need me to read it one more time?
Yes, we do.
So the current proposed amended motion is to approve the application for special privilege approval for an accessible passenger loading zone in the public right-of-way at Lake Bluff Elementary School, 1600 East Lake Bluff Boulevard.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the number.
This is the amendment.
This is just an amendment,
to
to
strike
strike
the
the
amendment.
3,000, yes. Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so motion, or the amendment fails.
What was the color?
I have 2 to 5.
Correct. So, and trustee mentioned, and President Rozak are the names. So now we will go to the original motion, and if there is further discussion.
The previous question under village code section 155-17 says that it's a fact that the following question shall be put an end to all debate and bring forth to the record. First upon the amendment.
Okay, so no more discussion.
I'll come
Is that what you're saying? I mean, I have no more comments. Oh, okay, that's fine.
What are the people that voted yes should recall the record?
Okay, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Motion carries 6-1.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate that. All right, the next item on our agenda is special order of business. No, we're done, right?
Consent.
And we're on the
Oh, consent. Okay, so number 5, consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, so I have a motion by trustee Bachhorst and second by trustee Carpenter. Is there any items that trustees would like to remove?
I'd like to include H,
Okay, so we'll remove H.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Purpose.
Say H 1, 2, 3, and 4
Yeah.
on the parklets. Okay, I would like to remove C, consider village board minutes. Any other trustees? Where's the chicken dinner?
Isn't there supposed to be a
It's
permit?
J.
It's being held based on what's in community business relations.
Oh, okay, because I just thought it was on the, okay, thank you for clarifying. Anything else? All right,
Was
so
there, I'm sorry, did I hear J?
No, sorry, no, we
okay.
did not.
Okay.
it's not J, right?
So
Oh.
right now I have H, 1, 2, 3, 4, and C.
Okay, so, and J is not, there's chicken dinner, it is the 4th of July celebration. Is that correct? Okay, and the permit for the chicken dinner is coming in and we're getting. All right, so we have a motion to approve the consent agenda with 5C, H, 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We'll now take up 5C, which is consider village board minutes, February. I just had a question about closed session. Was there a vote, you came back out into open session, did you vote to move it, to have another closed session? I guess this is a question for Attorney Bear. I was I had a family emergency, I was not in the state for the last meeting, and I got back and I tried to figure out what we're supposed to be doing, so I looked at what the motion was. Is there anything we should particularly be putting in our motions when we come out of closed session?
Like I said, was that the evaluation of
Yes.
the manager's performance? Again, I didn't stay for that either, so.
I know, I'm not asking about that, I'm just saying the motion was to adjourn back in open session, and then there was nothing.
Right, I don't know whether.
No, just-
I'm assuming that there was no formal action taken in closed session.
Motion
No.
carried by a roll call vote.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, to go back to go into open session.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that, but, so what I'm asking
Did we
is,
take any action in
No.
closed session?
Oh.
No, because we can't
Okay.
take action in closed session.
right,
We didn't
only
take
in
it
open
in
session.
session.
Correct. So my question, I guess, in turn is, in the North Shore Fire Department Board, when we do this, when we come out of closed session, it is, I don't guess, a tradition, or maybe it's law, and that's what I'm asking, that you state, what is either a vote or the
No.
next step, so that everyone reading it would know.
What I might offer, I might suggest
Sure.
in this case, just to move along, that I think that JPL Chair, Trustee Carpenter facilitated that discussion because it pertained to the, so if you weren't, anyone who wasn't present or needs a reminder, that would be appropriate. And then perhaps offline, we can address this since we do have closed session, so I would appreciate clarity, but I would rather not do it right now.
Well, okay, so can I just ask Trustee Carpenter, I'm assuming that the motion was to come into open session and refer or hold another closed session in the following village board meeting?
No, the motion was just for us to come into open session.
I understand, but what was discussed as next step?
What, I was in closed session.
It was in closed session, we can't talk about it right now.
The next steps were discussed in
And
closed
there was
session.
no
Well,
motion.
then why is it on the agenda?
Because there's no
Motion made.
motion.
Yeah.
So we can't
Or
change the
require-
minutes because there was no motion made.
I understand.
The procedure generally was the JPL chair gets with you to talk about the results of the village manager's review, and then we come back. So
Which
that's-
is summarized in the memo. that
Right,
we sent
the
out.
standard protocol procedure that
I
we had last
understand.
year and this year. So we didn't have a need for a motion.
But I do think that, I appreciate the point raised, and I just would prefer to, similar to other questions that get raised during board meetings, to ask the attorney to offer an opinion about it, and then circulate that, and then we can implement that procedure at future meetings.
That sounds fine to me. Thank you. And also, in addition to that, then, when we have that discussion, we can talk about adding that we need to take notes in closed session as we will
Yes, I
tonight.
appreciated that.
That- I know those two. Okay. Trustee Maher?
Yeah, in that specific line, it should read motion carried 6-0. 6-0 should be added to the minutes because it doesn't have a count.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay.
I move
So-
to approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion to approve
With the
5C,
amendment, or the change from trustee Meyer.
5C, consider village board minutes. We have a motion to approve it with the change made. Can you read what the change was, or just tell me what
The
it
vote
says?
was 6-0.
So change
With
the bullet from
additional-
7 zeros. Or
No,
you
there's
didn't even
no-
specify.
No, right.
Okay,
just
so we'll
with the
add the
addition
vote
of-
6-0.
So the motion is to approve it.
To
With the
approve
addition of-
sorry, let me look at is it the February 3rd minutes?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
No,
to
12.
approve the February 3rd, 2020 village board minutes with the addition of a 6-0 vote to come out of closed session
On item number
on
12.
item number 12.
Thank you. And we have a second from trustee Warren. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Now take up item 5G. Is it G or H? H. Consider application for special privilege approval for a parklet at 1234 Milwaukee Brought House Camp Guard, Drafting Vessel, and 3 Lions. Trustee Menta.
Yeah, I mean, I bring this up every year about parklets. I feel that they're on public property and that the public should have access to the parklets, even if they are not partaking of something from the business, just because they are public. And that is how parklets in other places. In San Francisco, when I was there, there's actually a sign on the parklet saying this is public space, and people are free to sit there. So I just want to bring that up. I am okay with them, although I would like to vote separately on Milwaukee Brought House and Camp Bar. I feel that block is just too crowded. There's during like when school's getting out, and now that we have the Corazon House there with the entrances and exits from the Metro Market, I just feel that whole area is really congested.
You should make a motion immediately then. If you're, you know what, if you're gonna make, if you would like to make a motion to split those, I would do so.
Well, they're all separate items, aren't they? Or do the
They are.
Are they? Oh, are they?
I
Trustee
would
Bachler.
take H1 through 4 together and consider the application for
Georgia.
special privileges for the parklets at items 1 through 4.
So you're making a motion?
Yes.
Okay, can you restate?
I'd like to move to consider, and I again would like to take H1 through 4 together, to consider applications for special privilege approval for parklets at the following 4 locations.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by trustee Bachhorst, a second by trustee McCabe.
Oh, what happened?
Any further discussion?
So if we-
Trustee Maher?
I had a concern specifically on 3 Lions Club. They requested to put outside lighting in there, so it's not just a renewal, there's a request for a change in the park. I had some questions specifically.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion.
Does the full board consent to withdrawing the motion?
No, I don't. Let's go with it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Trustee Warren?
I don't have anything.
Okay, trustee McCabe.
I really like the idea about, that people can sit there and visit with their friends even if they're not a paying customer or if they want to sit. So I was just wondering if maybe that could be a kind of like a friendly agreement, that they could discuss I can't imagine a business really being against that. So rather than changing our policy.
I think that you may have, let's get clarity from our attorney really quick, because I agree with you.
I wouldn't put it in a motion, I'm not changing the motion, I'm not changing the policy, I think it's that obviously, but I just wanted to say I appreciate that I had never thought about it. I myself have stopped and joined other people and chatted, on parklets and not been a customer. And so, I guess I don't have anything else but to just say thank you, trustee Menta, for bringing it to our attention.
And I remember her bringing it to our attention every single time. and I
Because I've never listened before.
Yes. And I will say as well,
That's okay. I mean,
I do recommend.
Well, this is your last vote on it, though.
But I do recommend that in future agenda items that you may want to place that on to alter or amend the policy to include language that would address that, or the application, or whatever. Trustee Carpenter?
And on those parklets, then would there be, if we went forward with that, a sign that says this is open to the public?
Okay.
Okay.
We have a motion, can you